adventure and pure delight, where surprises wait beyond every sight, where
Alright, Shalom, Yahawashi, Brakathon. Giving double honors to the elder apostles of Greatmillstone, my spiritual fathers who taught me all I know. Through the spirit, purpose, and power of Yahawah, saluting the sincere brothers striving for the crown that never fadeth away. Right, that whole bit, right? I want to do this little live, right? A little sit down just to really talk about what I've seen, man. What I've seen amongst the circumcision. Obviously, we know about the scandals that keep arising within Israel, the scandals, the controversies, the debates, the exposures that we're seeing amongst men, right? The diverse things that we're seeing, all the different little skirmishes that you see happening within Israel. We're seeing all of it, and it can be very off-putting to a lot of brothers and sisters that do have a sincere mind, and you do try to learn about this Hebrew Israelite thing, and you're met with all of this. You see all this going on, and you're thinking that men of the Lord are supposed to be different from, you know, our people that's in the world, that we're supposed to have a form of godliness, and they indeed do have a form of godliness. I'm talking about like men within the circumcision, within this truth, this Israelite knowledge, right? You see the different camps, right? You see all these diverse different Israelite camps, and you see what's happening, and it can be discouraging to want to continue investing in it, like paying tithes and, you know, having all this faith, investing all this faith inside these men, only to find out that, oh, he's being exposed for this guy's being exposed online publicly throughout all Israel for such and such, this, that, and the third. We see that happening with obviously Guerrilla Hebrew, right? And I'm not going to even go in too deeper because I don't even know any of these men involved. I don't know any of these men, so I'm not even going to talk about it, right? But because I was actually watching the live stream yesterday concerning Shah Ariala, what's his name? Let me bring his name up. Ariala, right? Shah Ariala. And I was listening to his live stream, how he was pretty much going into you know, exposing Guerrilla Hebrew, his wife, and basically he was paying her money to be active, putting on an act within the truth, you know, paying her money like grants and stuff like that. So you hear about these things, and it can be off-putting or just discouraging for brothers within the faith, man, right? And I want to talk about that. I actually wanted to go into all of that, right? And I was listening to the whole thing. I was watching him in my personal thing in Ariala. He's a bitch, man. That's just me. He's got a very bitch-made spirit, a very feminine spirit within him, and you can see that the man's not sincere at all. In the one hand, he'll say, you know, I love the brother, you know, what's his name? The Guerrilla Hebrew guy, what's his name? The brother, forget his name, the guy that's being brought out, exposed for, you know, the whole the sexual deviance and the pagan situation and stuff like that. You know, on the one hand he's saying he loves him, but on the other hand you can see that he's really getting an erection off of exposing him. So you can see that there's a deeper agenda as opposed to what he's doing, right? So you can see that the man's playing, he bullshitting, and you're seeing these things. Like I said, I don't know the man, I don't know any of these men involved, but you can see, as a newcomer into the faith, you can see all this, and it can be very discouraging that you're seeing a lot of worldly behavior from men that you would think are supposed to be of a righteous, godly sort. You're seeing a lot of social media entertainment, and not even just those in particular men involved, but then you go to the comment section, and you see the amount of views, the people that are just waiting the people that are just there, right? They're just like vultures. You know what I'm saying? They're just there in the comment section. You're talking about hundreds of individuals, and some of them even have Hebrew names. Some of them have Hebrew names, and it's like you're listening. And me personally, when I was watching the live stream, I was just watching the comment section. I wasn't so much listening to Ariala, because in my mind, he's a bitch. That's just how I look at him. You know, but it's the comment section, because in my mind, like, you see a lot of men and sisters, and these are the same individuals. If you was to do a live stream, right, just about something scriptural, something spiritual, about a certain verse or something like that, none of these individuals would be nowhere to be found. They wouldn't even, you struggle to get a shalom out of some of these guys. But as soon as something to do with strife or controversy, hundreds of them, they're all just there, like, you know what I mean, like television, like entertainment. I'm thinking, and it reminds me of certain precepts that the brother, Alazar, right, that's his name. Right, the day you go on, are you struggling with the names and that? But shalom to the brother, there you go. Yeah, he's around women. You can tell this by looking his eyes, you know, his lips. You can just look at the man's character. You can look at the dude's character. I'm talking about Ariala. You can just look at the dude, and you can see he's got a very a bitchy made spirit. Like, he's not sincere at all. You know when the scripture says, sit not in the midst of women, for out of a garment cometh a moth, but out of women wickedness. And he's got that very womanly spirit about him. You know, all that. But I don't even want to go too deep into that. It's just the character. When you newly come to the faith, it can be discouraging, and you're met with all this, because naturally you're most likely going to stumble across a lot of the videos that get a lot of views. So you're going to stumble across videos like all these exposure videos, and you're going to see stuff like that, and you're going to think, well, is this what this Hebrew Israelite thing is all about? And it's not. It really isn't, man. And I want to bring out this precept. Right, so it says, this is St. Matthew chapter 13 verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathereth of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So naturally, this kingdom of heaven, this truth, this household of faith, is like unto a man that casts his net into the sea, talking that net referring to this word. And you're casting it amongst the people, and the type of individuals that's being brought and drawn into this household of faith are men and sisters that are sincere, and that are part of the elect, that are deemed to be saved. And then you have basically niggers. You have slimy, grimy guys that are in this thing for the wrong reasons. And you can see, and like I said, the scripture says, and Yahawashi said it best. He said a wise statement. He says, you know a tree by its fruit. Sometimes you can kind of already tell that a man ain't right just by watching the things that come forth out of him. Okay? It's like, I also want to get this. This is Acts 17. Because, you know, Ariala, like I said, when I was watching the live stream, I wasn't so much paying so much attention towards him and what he was saying. Obviously, you know, what's his name? Alazar, you know, paying that BBL thing he had on the side, paying all these grants and stuff. Obviously that right, but I was more watching the comment section, and it came to my mind. This is Acts chapter 17, let me start verse 19, the point is at verse 21. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. For all the Athenians, is the point, for all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. So you have a lot of individuals that claim themselves to be part of the circumcision. They're only there when it's controversy. There's only there when there's something new, some gossiping, some whispering, some contention, right? Some scandal. They're first at the table. They're first there in the comment section. You know, no scriptures, not one scripture. There was one. In fact, there was one dude on the comment section bringing out precepts, and even he had to make a little point in the comment section, say, "Raw man, this whole comment section is wicked. No precepts being brought out. Everyone's just here just to hear some new thing." And then he had to delete that comment, because I actually saw him delete the comment. But what he said was true, you know. And then let me get this. This is Ezekiel. And I'm seeing these things, and it's like there's a total lack of fear. Like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that. I'm not saying that, because sometimes in the morning I catch myself cursing. I'm saying like cursing out certain men in my mind that I once knew in the faith and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect, like, because I'm in the flesh too, innit? But what I do see is that a total lack of fear in Jacob, man. I'm seeing that. The Lord, guys, you come in this thing and you're there for entertainment. The brother, you want a thumb shalom, the Most High bless you in your household. This is Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 30. Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord. So our people, they want to get some entertainment. Right, so let me read on. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. So it shows you, wherever your heart is, that's really what you value. That's your treasure. Right? Because like I said before, if you was to do a sit down, a spiritual sit down, going into breaking down a certain verse, you wouldn't get that much views. Let me read on. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that have a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not, man. All right, and you get this precept. Yeah, and there's a lot of individuals like that, you know. They one thing Ariana was saying, he's saying that he loves Alazar, but then at the same time, the man was calling him all kinds of names. The man was just talking, just mad, just dogging the dude out, right? So I was thinking, how's that? Anybody with half a brain can clearly see that he don't have no love. It's probably based on some competition he's got with him. So you're seeing that, and these are the things that's getting the most views. This is Sirach 20. I want to go talk about other things as well, because it's not even just that. This is Sirach 28, verse 13. So it says, curse the whisperer and double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. So it says, curse the whisperer and the double-tongued, right? So a man say one thing, and in the same breath, he'll completely contradict himself by saying something else, right, towards another matter. But like I said, it all goes back to a total lack of fear that you're seeing, right? But let me get this precept. Jeremiah. Get these precepts up. Jeremiah chapter 9. Because I don't want this to be too long. This is the prophet Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 2. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them. For they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men. So that's what we're seeing. And all we're seeing is treachery, slandering. Right, men that, you know, shalom, all this, they might greet the, you know, the brethren with the shalom. They have the garments on and that, but then there's a lot of treacherous. That's what I've seen. There's a lot of treacherous behavior, man. Okay, a lot of accusation, and because you might rebuke a man, right? Because I'm not, like I said, that doesn't mean that I'm standing up for Alazar, right, or anything he did or anything like that. But it's just when just the focus on the character part of what I'm seeing, man. And it's like, you know, you could rebuke a man or bring out certain information about a man, and you might justify yourself and say, oh, it's only right that the truth be brought out. You know, it's only right that Israel hears all this, you know, because it's not right that we should hide all this information. You might bring it out, but with what intent are you bringing it all out? With what intent, though? Because your intention is evil, it's blatant, like, you know what I'm saying? You can look at a man, you can look through a man's soul, you can look through his eyes, you can see that his intent is something to do with malice, this. You're really doing it with a malicious intent. You see? And like all the hundreds of the people that was in the comment section couldn't see that, man. And that's what was troubling. If that's the way he showed love to his brother, I wouldn't want to be the man's enemy. Alright? If you see how that's how he shows you know, brotherly, and that's it. There's a total lack of brotherly love. Like, men are not thinking about the end. They're not thinking about the end of their conversation. They're not thinking about where all we got at the end of the day. Like, you know, it's a testament to your own character. Like, when you do well to another man, you're not really doing well to another man to try and gain his favor. You're really doing well to that man as a testament of your character, because you like to view yourself as an upright man. So you do things that complement the character that you're trying to display of yourself, man. Right? It all starts with self. It all starts from within. You know what I'm saying? But what's the precept that I want to bring up? Salakio. Right. Salakio. I was reading on. So it says, Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 2, oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men, and they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth. Like I was saying before, like when it comes down to controversy or scandals, people, hundreds of people in the comment section. But when it comes down to being valiant for the truth, you lucky if you get a list of people in your comment section saying shalom, posting precepts. You know what I'm saying? They're valiant for strife, but not for truth. Okay? So it says, for they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith Yahawah. And it goes into, you know, take ye heed of every one his neighbor, trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slander. So it goes into that whole thing, right? It goes into that whole thing. And what's that precept? What's that precept? In fact, let me get this while I'm thinking. Right? Let me get this precept here. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 14. In fact, let me start from verse 13. Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and ye that are near, acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness have surprised the hypocrites. Right? Because there's hypocrisy. There's hypocrisy amongst our nation, man. There's a lot of men, you point fingers, you're accusing another man of something, right? But you not examining yourself enough to see that the same thing that you're accusing the next man of, you yourself are doing it, man. But it all starts with that pride. That's what prevents a man from examining himself, and even really going as far the point as just admitting to yourself that what you're doing is wicked, and you know, there's that admittance. But it's much more easier to point the finger. And what they say, when you got one finger pointing at someone, you got three fingers three fingers pointing back at yourself. And that's another thing, right? And it's like a a cycle that the Most High is just constantly undergoing, where the Lord is constantly refining the household of faith. That's what you're constantly hearing, and you're going to hear more of it. That's what I'm saying. Don't be discouraged by the strife and the you know, just the slandering and all the evil surmisings of the circumcision. Don't be discouraged by it, because it's got to be more to come. Because what the scripture says in that time of trouble, you know, when Esau's FEMA troops and the military and the National Guard, and when when Esau really starts coming down on the inhabitants of the earth, right, on the citizens, on his own national citizens, with great wrath, and the scripture says, then it's going to be known who are my chosen. So the Lord is constantly going to be refining, and you're going to see a lot more to come, man. You're going to see more. You're going to see a lot more. And like I said, even guys that were just enjoying like vultures, man. Obviously, certain elders, even elder apostles, man, jumping on a bad wagon and stuff like that. I'm thinking, you know, you would think that if a guy's getting exposed, the first thing you would come to your mind is, damn, that could have been me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's due to that lack of fear and too much self-confidence. Way too much self-confidence, where you think you're good because of the position that you're in, or the camp that you may be a part of might be a renowned camp. You get too gassed up within yourself, too puffed up, where you think that can't happen to you. Hey man, Peter was the head apostle, and he was confident that he said he would never betray Yahawashi. And then look what wound up happening, man. Look what spirit that the Lord put upon Peter to make him completely do adjacent to what he said that he would never do. Hey, the scriptures say, boast not thyself of tomorrow, because you never know what the next day may bring. You never know what spirits the Lord has, what test or trial the Lord got prepared for you, man. And that's why Yahawashi said, when you pray and say that, Lord, lead me not into temptation, man. And what does the word temptation mean? The word temptation means a test or a trial of a man's character. Holiness or character. That's literally what the word temptation means. It's a test. And like I said, I'm not excusing Alazar or the whole scandalous things that got brought out upon him. But what I'm more focused on is the mannerism and the intent of the exposure. It wasn't upright at all. Like, I'm looking at this guy Ariala. He's not upright, bro. That's just me. You know? But the world love their own, innit? Like, but anyway, let me read on. So it says, fearfulness have surprised the hypocrites. Right? So the guys that fought, the guys that think that they're good, a big surprise is coming for them, man. A big surprise is coming for a lot of men that enjoy pointing their finger at people. That get a rise, that get an erection off of pointing fingers and, you know, getting their little social media entertainment from putting other men on frontline. And a lot of these guys that do that, it's almost like you don't want to even acknowledge the fact you in the flesh too. You mean to tell me that you don't have little freaky thoughts in your mind? You know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know, I'm just saying, like, on the real, brothers is also plagued with lusts and stuff like that. Lust demons. You acting like that demons don't mess with you at times. But let me read on. So it says, he that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions. Okay, because you got like the pastors, right? They get gain out of oppressing or suppressing the truth, right? And teaching our people lies. They get a gain of oppressions. They get gain out of oppressing their own people by not revealing the truth to them. So let me read on. So it says, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. his waters shall be sure. Right, so it says, he that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood. So certain men, they love to hear blood. They love to hear some new thing. They like to hear, oh, this guy got exposed. This guy's character got assassinated. They love to hear blood. But if you was an upright man, you would stop your ears from the hearing of blood. That's something that would grieve you to hear that a man who is probably in a position of authority has been brought down. These things should grieve a man. But I'm seeing men jumping on a bandwagon. I'm seeing elders jumping on like vultures, man. Like they're always looking for the man's downfall. They're all looking for a man's downfall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ready, you got the rocks ready, you got the stones ready to roll at him. Right? You got with that malice. You know, that certain man that you might be able to portray yourself as godly before the people, but the Most High knows what's in your heart though, man. And a lot of men, in their mind, you fear men. You don't fear the Lord though. You know what I'm saying? You don't fear the Most High. And that's the stumbling stone of being a part of a camp. When you're part of a camp, you fear getting kicked out the camp. You fear being by yourself. You fear being exposed. You fear men, are making videos about you. But the beautiful part about not being a part of a major camp is that you focus more on the Lord and pleasing the Lord rather than men. That's the beautiful part about not being a part of a camp. GMS South Carolina, yeah. GMS South Carolina. Me personally, I don't particularly like that guy. I'm just being like straight up. Like, I'm not saying that he's not part of the elect, and I'm not saying that I don't want him to be part of the elect. I'm not saying anything like that. I pray that we will make it, man. I don't wish evil upon no man. But the Lord says, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from their wickedness. But at South Carolina, I see that 100%, man. That he would be the type of dude where he will speak evil about a situation without having first examined the matter. I know that's the type of man he is, man. He's got a very malicious spirit, man, within him. And that's another thing. You see, when you're in this truth, when you see, and that's why it's like a reminder. When you see these things, these are things that you need to look upon yourself, and that's an example how not to be. But like I said, all these things can be discouraging when you see these things. But, it's all a necessary evil, as the brother Daniela had already done said, man. So this is the point. So it says, he that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. Certain guys love to see evil. They don't want to shut their eye. They want their eyes wide open. They're looking for the drama. They're looking like vultures. But we see all that. And let me get this precept. This is Romans chapter 2, verse, let me start from verse 15. The point is at verse 16. No, let me jump down. Let me get to the point, because that verse has got nothing to do with the point. This is Romans chapter 2, verse 16. In the day when the Most High shall judge the secrets of men by Yahawashi HaMashiach, according to the gospel. Right, so there you go. In the day when the Most High shall judge the secrets of men. Right? Because you have people backing you. You putting out an exposure video. You got all these hundreds of people defending you and reinforcing your every word. Right? But then the examination of the secret intentions of that man is totally overlooked. But the Most High doesn't really care so much about the exposure, but how you're going about dealing with it. That's what the Most High is more concerned with. Because the Most High will put things and will send Satan to tempt you. Oh yeah, do this video. But you gotta watch. Okay, you might do a video exposing something, and you might be right to a certain degree, but when you get taken in your malice, you get taken in your personal dislike of that man. And people can see it. And that's another thing. When you do videos, when you do lives, when you do sit downs, people are watching you, man. And a lot of guys, right, you forget that people are watching you and they're formulating opinions of you. People aren't stupid, you know. Just because they're not there with you, just because they don't know you personally, doesn't mean that people can't already perceive things about you. So when you're speaking and you're saying all these things about a man, and people can see by your gestures, your eyes, they can see by your body language, they can see that you're grimy, dirty piece of shit, man. They can see that about you. Even though your words you might have some validity towards in terms of what you're saying about a next man, but they can see that there's something else going on. There's an underlying agenda that's going on there. People can perceive that. And if people can see it, how much more the Lord? How much more the Most High? If people aren't stupid like that, how much more the Most High, seeing his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man? He enjoys contention. He does, man. He does. I remember one time, man, I was on the you know me, I always give my props to the elder apostles of Greatmillstone, because everything I know, I got it from them. So sometimes I would tune in to like their live stream, and I'll post a little. And obviously, I'm not a part of GMS for the obvious reason, you know, the whole situation that I had with London forecasters and the specific guy. Really, it wasn't just him; it was other dudes in that camp. But so I post a precept on the section, right, and then what was it? Acts chapter 2, something about with fire and vapes of smoke and stuff like that. So I was speaking about that whole mist, that whole fog situation that was going on over there in America, right? And saying obviously that's referring to, that whole precept there is referring to like volcanic eruptions and wildfires and stuff like that. But then the whole fog situation, it kind of goes into that. So he comes up now and he goes, oh, and then he says, oh, we at GMS, we don't teach that, you're going off. But he knows that obviously I understood that that precept wasn't talking about the fog and the whole fog situation in the States. But I was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, it kind of navigates into that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But really, he just doesn't like me because I'm not part of GMS. So it had nothing to do with the way I probably interpret it or whatever. It's to do with the fact that he personally doesn't like man because I'm not a part of GMS, right? And then I call myself going on the section again on another time now, and then I just posting precepts, right? You know, like I said, this showing paying respect to the elder apostles, and then he said, yeah, go and reconcile yourself to the men that you offended before you come around us. And then I was like, bro, you don't even know what happened between me and those men that you're referring to, that you're telling me to reconcile myself to. You know, so he's the type of man, he will rebuke before he's even examined the matter. So that's one thing I've definitely, you can see, and these are like elders and stuff like that. But anyway, where was I at, man? Right, so let me bring this precept up in this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 14. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil, man. Okay, the beautiful thing about not being in a major camp is you are able to see things from, there you go, you're able to see things from different angles, and also you're not like a respecter of persons. You can voice your opinion. Guys in camps are afraid to voice their opinions, lest they get black sheeped or blacklisted out the camp. You have to basically be a zombie. You have got to be a yes nigga. That's part of the cons of being part of a major camp. you're too afraid to actually say what's on your mind and just be like transparent. You know, you can't be, and that shows there's a lack of sincerity, man. It's basically you're rendered incapable of being sincere. You're thinking certain things and you're too, you know, you got to put on this front like, or you agree when really deep down you really don't. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lack of transparency and openness. And that's what, if you see with the men that I'm with, that's what I would want more than anything. Transparency and openness. The last thing you want is to be around a man. It's like being on the battlefield, right? And a man, he's there with you, but his heart ain't with you because he's got certain opinions and he hasn't told you yet. That's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is to be on the battlefield with a man whose heart ain't in it. You want transparency. But anyway, from the outside looking in, as it were, with no bias. There you go. The Artiolo brought another brought another exposure out last night about and Guerrilla Hebrew is a damn shame. You know that, well, that's what I was going into, that whole thing right there. Like I said, in my opinion, you know, Ariola guy, his spirit is feminine, man. You know, it's definitely feminine. Like I said, I don't wish evil upon no one, but these are the things that you're seeing. And, you know, don't be discouraged, man, when you see these things, because more of this is going to happen, right? More exposure, more guys getting dropped out. The Lord is going to start, is going to sift out a lot of men within the circumcision. Like I said, it's going to be known in that day who are my chosen. Okay, because a lot of guys are professing their goodness. In fact, let me get that right now, this precept. This is Proverbs 20. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 6. Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find. Right, so the scripture says most men, they're going to proclaim that they're good. Like, you know, that certain man will even go as far as saying that we got to be of the elect. You know, every man going to proclaim that he's good, and you even probably boast himself. You know, every man will proclaim his goodness, but like I said, it's the Lord that's going to reveal the secrets of men in the end. That's why you have to examine yourself, and I guess another thing, a total lack of self-examination. Before the time of judgment, you got to look at yourself, man. Hey, man, there's certain things there, certain guys, you've done so much, you've caused so much offense to other men that you don't have the courage within you to humble yourself and actually go and apologize to all those men you've offended. Because if you do that, if it gets exposed that you actually did all that evil, you know that your position in that camp you're in will have to be forfeited. You're going to have to forfeit your position. So a certain man, you've offended a lot of men, and you have to continue on in the fuckery, because you know that if you go back and humble yourself, you most likely gonna have to, you probably lose a lot of subscribers, you'll lose your credit as a supposed man of the Lord. Certain guys know they've gone so far in the slandering and the offense that they've caused to other men that they can't go back. They know that if I go back, if I admit to the shit that I've done, because certain guys are saying things about me, certain guys saying things about me, but if I admit that it was true, then that's me, that's game over for me. So they got, you know what I'm saying? So you got to always watch yourself that you don't wind up in such a case. There are men within the circumcision that are in such case, man. Right, and their conscience is defiled, man. They got demon. And see, when you give into temptation and stuff, when Satan overcomes you, because you basically making a pact with the devil, like you are making an agreement with Satan to go and offend another man or slander another man, or, you know, get your one up on the next man in the camp or something like that. Do all that fuckery, right? And then remember, that was a test. Then after that, then when Satan leaves you, more demons are gonna them shame demons are gonna jump on you afterward, man. And now you can't go back, because if you go back now and admit to the fuck you that you did to another man, now you probably gonna get kicked out the camp. People gonna be side-eyeing you. You're gonna lose subscribers. So always, like, before you, just examine yourself, man. You know, that goes for me too. That goes for me too. You know. But anyway, let me get this. What's it say? Yeah. There's a down shit, and I believe, what's the brother's name? Alazar, he's gonna do his response. Today, he's gonna do his response today, I believe. Again, this is all distractions, man. It's all controversy. It's all scandals, and all this stuff going on. But believe it or not, this kind of stuff gets the most views. It gets the most attention. You do a little sit-down video, a spiritual video, you probably might get 100 or so, probably 200 views, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You know, 20 likes, 25 likes. But you see these controversial videos exposing that guy, rare. It's through the roof, and that shows you where Jake's a lot of men within the not niggas in the world. I'm talking about men and women within the truth. That's where their minds are. You know. It always happens when you dig dark paths and truths up in an attempt to reveal the truth. Yeah, exactly. ISUBK and GMS and IUSC are all the same. If you're not in their camp, you're not in the, yeah, exactly. You're not in the truth. They don't see you as a brother unless you're with them, or if you're in another camp, they disown you. Exactly. That's the truth. Now, unfortunately, but that's the messed up, the hypocritical part by it, the irony of it, is that they'll open up camp and say shalom to the elect. I'm talking about Greatmillstone, GMS. That's not me dogging them out, because like I said, I always pay my respects to the elder apostles, and I did get a lot of my knowledge from different men that either still are in GMS or was once a part of GMS. But that's just the truth. That's just the truth. They'll say shalom to the elect, right? Shalom to the elect, or the hopeful elect. But then you will look your nose down at a man that could be potentially part of, or you disrespect a man that could be potentially part of the elect. And it's like they don't see the hypocrisy behind it all. You know what I'm saying? Like where's the self-examination? Where's that at, man? So anyway, we said a day John, shalom, by the way, shalom, Yahawashi, Mashah, Bakaton. Philippians 1 verse 15, some indeed preach Hamashach, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. Again, that goes into that net that brought to shore. The good were put into vessels, and the bad were cast away. All right, so that's certain guys that strife, envy. So the same thing was going on 2,000 years ago. The same thing that was what's happening now, there's nothing new underneath the sun. Is the same things going on 2,000 years ago. Exposing guys is not wicked, man, because Paul exposed guys. Like, he exposed Hymenaeus, and I believe the other dude, is it Philetus, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Hymenaeus, right, and Alexander, because they were blaspheming, right? So it's not wicked to expose, but it's just the mannerism or the intent that you go about doing it. Because that dude, Ariala, he's exposing Alazar. You can tell that there's something else there. He's doing it with an ulterior motive. Really, he's probably jealous of the guy. He was probably always jealous of him, or some other shit. You can see it, man. Right? He's not doing it with upright reasons. Verse 17, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. There you go. There's a thin line between teaching for strife and contention and there you go, and defending the gospel, man. Right? Really, ultimately, man, you want to move in pureness within this truth. Okay? You want to keep your hands clean. You know? But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. Don't want to make it too long, 45 minutes. Anyway, with that, that's all I want to really go. This is really a message to like newcomers within the faith and the truth. It can also be edifying to brothers that are already in it, sisters that are already in it. But more to newcomers, that don't be discouraged when you see these things, when you hear of. Because remember, he was using the tithes of the congregation of the people and paying it to some BBO harlot, man. So that can discourage a lot of people from paying tithes, because like, what's going to be done with those tithes? Is it going to be used for right reasons or wrong reasons? You know, it's going to put off sisters from offering donations and stuff. Listen, man, if you offer donations, the Lord is watching your intent behind you offering those donations. That money that's used, the Lord will sort that out. But the Lord will reward you for having a good mind towards that offering, towards making an offering. Now, that money might cause dissension within brothers, because it could cause dissension, it could cause jealousy, it could cause some type of scandal among men. That's all the Lord. That's all that disposing is of the Lord. You know? What's that precept? You cast a lot, but the whole disposing is of the Lord. You know? So don't be discouraged. Just know that the Lord's will has to be done at the end of the day, man. You know, is more of this exposure, more of this scandalous, you know, this kind of behavior is going to carry on. But anyway, with that, I just wanted to talk about that. Shalom, man. Shalom.